What's going on, everyone? I am at home because my wife is sick, so I was on dad duty today. But that doesn't mean the crypto markets stop. Oh no. After giving us a slight bit of a scare, Bitcoin is back up above some pretty strong resistance. But what does this mean for the rest of the space? We also have some big news coming out over the last 24 hours that US presidential candidate Donald Trump, even though a lot of us suspected he would be this way, officially announces that he is pro crypto and he will defend it. What does that mean for the election? What does that mean for crypto going forward? We're going to dive into all of that and a whole lot more. So don't go anywhere. Stick around for the entire episode. We will announce who wins the $100. You don't want to miss it. This is Investing Bros. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah, back at the house. Again, it's different being back in office. We used to shoot. I used to shoot in this office quite frequently. Give me feedback. What do you guys think of this setup? Do you guys prefer my home setup? Go to my full screen here, T-Shroom. Let them see. Like, I got a nice bookshelf behind me, an old ledger wallet that I'm never going to use ever again, a nice closet where I have like snowboarding stuff and a couple other things. Or do you guys like the screens? Either way, I'm probably going to keep the screens. How do you guys like the mic? Is the mic okay? Either way, it doesn't matter because we can't fix it. So I don't know why I asked. T-Shroom, how are you doing today?
Well, Tim, I got to say, with some of these headlines and Bitcoin getting back up above this downtrending line of support, I'm feeling better than I deserve.
Yeah, that's good.
Can you believe
good.
that?
This is going to be a very fun show because I just also realized. So normally when we're looking at the show, like if you guys ever see me looking like this when I'm normally doing the show, it's because I'm watching T-Shroom because on my normal setup, T-Shroom's over here. Now T-Shroom's down. So it's going to look like I'm texting during the whole show or just not paying attention. But I promise you, when you see me looking like this, everybody, it's because I'm watching T-Shroom, the real beauty
OG?
of the show.
Right. It's
Yeah,
hard to take.
and
It's hard to take your eyes off me. I've been told.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Welcome, JB, who just became a bro.
Let's
Good
go.
to have you in here. You're going to be able to join our weekly members-only streams. We had a great one last night. Did not get to both topics. Yesterday, we discussed should you buy real estate or even buy a home or just hold Bitcoin. It was a great discussion. We'll probably discuss it in more depth down the road, but we never got into a very good conversation, and we're not going to get into it today, even though the topic might flirt us with that decision. We said that we were going to discuss whether voting for RFK was considered a wasted vote. We will discuss that next Wednesday. So, JB, you'll get to be a part of that discussion, get to weigh in, give your 2 cents.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to break down, though, today. And again, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump. Some people don't like to talk politics. I'm sorry. Crypto and politics are tied at the hip at this point. And we did hear some fantastic stuff. Let's actually go ahead, before we even jump into charts, T-Shroom, let's just deal with that big story. In case anyone didn't hear it, see it, has no idea what we're talking about. There's a clip that happened about 24 hours ago. Can you play that for us?
Absolutely. We can, and we will. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
They are against it. The Biden doesn't even know what it is. If you ask Biden, sir, are you for or against crypto? What's that? What the? Get me off the stage. He's saying, get me off the stage. No, he has no idea. But look, Gensler is very much against it. The Democrats are very much against it. And I say this, a lot of people are very much for it, probably a lot of the people in this group, and I'm fine with it. I want to make sure it's good and solid and everything else, but I'm good with it. And if you like crypto in any form, and it comes in a lot of different forms, if you're in favor of crypto, you better vote for Trump. They are against it.
There you go. How can you disagree with that?
Yeah. First of all, I always love when political figures do impersonations. It's great. But here, I want to break it down for people just in case, you're wondering, what do we take away from that? First of all, he will defend crypto. And here's the thing. You guys, you can say a lot about Donald Trump. I am not going to self-proclaim as the number one Trump fan in the world. There's a lot of things and issues I have with Donald Trump. There's a lot of issues I have with a lot of people. But one thing that I will not accuse Donald Trump of, especially when it comes to his politics, he's not one of the people that lies on the, like, he doesn't lie about what he wants to get accomplished. He might say, I want to get this done, and then he got blocked by Congress or Senate. But Donald Trump does not lie about what he intends to do when getting into the White House. So whether he likes crypto or not, and to be clear, he didn't necessarily say that he liked it. If you listen to the words he said, I'm good with it. The reason why that's important is because even though a lot of us suspected he would be pro crypto going into this election, the last official phrase or the last official word we had from him was that he was pro the dollar, and kind of insinuated he didn't really like crypto. So even though a lot of people suspected his views had changed, it's good to hear him officially say it. It's good to get the words from his mouth. But it's clear to understand he's not going to be like the biggest proponent of it. He's not going to go around advertising and saying everyone should move their wealth into crypto. He's probably still going to defend and try to build up the dollar. But what's amazing is that when he says I'm good with crypto, it means he's not going to drive crypto technology, blockchain technology away from the United States. He's not going to pass regulation and laws that inhibit those of us who do like crypto. Ultimately, what he's saying is, hey, this might not be my cup of tea, but I am here to fight for the freedom of others. And there are a lot of other people who like crypto, and I'm not going to stand in their way. So no matter who you are and how much you like or dislike Donald Trump, that's what you should be taking away with it. If you do like crypto, whether you end up voting for him or not, and we're not here to tell you guys who to vote for, but I will say, as a crypto holder, if Donald Trump wins, after hearing what he said in that press conference, I wouldn't say I would be the most disappointed person in the world. I think that a second presidency for Donald Trump would be very beneficial for crypto in the long run. I'm not going to comment on necessarily the rest of the world. I'm not going to say negative or positive. I'm going to say crypto, because that's what this show is about. If you're investing in crypto, Donald Trump is a win for your crypto holdings. Tisha, if you have any different thoughts or anything you want to add on to that?
Well, it certainly seems that way, Tim. I agree. Of the two candidates that are running on the major parties, Trump definitely seems to be much more pro crypto, and we even saw that today with Joe Biden's comments on what the House just voted on to basically kind of repeal in a pro crypto way, repeal some legislation that had been passed earlier last year. Biden came out and said, "No, I'm going to side with the SEC. I think I wouldn't want to undo the good work that they did." So Biden, it's not like he's come out and said he hates Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the actions that he takes have been very counter to the interests of crypto. So we're talking about politics. That's not going away. If that's a problem for you, that it's unfortunate. Is that like the first thing I think of when I wake up? No, politics is not the end all be all. I did not get into crypto, and I did not get into investing for the politics of it. But in the United States is the biggest financial market in the world. The elections matter. The elections have consequences, and ultimately, price go up more if Trump wins. So we're going to turn to the betting odds every once in a while. We've got the Real Clear Politics pulled up here. And you'll see one of the data points that Real Clear pulls is actually poly markets, which we'll pull up here in a second. But right now, Trump is ahead by a little bit less than 2 points, it looks like here. And then RFK not even getting into 5% there. And then poly markets is giving essentially Donald Trump and Joe Biden neck and neck. So the betting odds, I could care less about the polls. Some of the state polls are a little more accurate, but the national polls, who knows? Whereas with the betting odds, what Vegas is saying, where people are putting their money, speaks a lot louder to me. And we're pretty far out, so these numbers can absolutely change. There can be, and will be, many surprising events that changes the tone of the electorate, and the betting odds will be modified accordingly. But right now, it does look like Trump is ahead by a little bit, but not by very much. So that is generally a price go up kind of number print that we're getting there. And I can't wait to see what's going on kind of on the crypto bubbles and on CoinMarketCap. But that's what's going on the political front. Again, we don't have to get into any of the issues outside of how politics affects crypto, but we will be talking about that.
Well, and the other reason why is because we also, I think the majority of our audience are probably American citizens, but we have a large viewing audience that doesn't get a say in this election. They just have to watch from afar. But it is well known, whatever is happening in the United States is going to have pretty big rippling impacts on the rest of the world. So, and that's even why I'm saying, like, whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, if he is elected, you should sleep at night knowing your crypto investment is looking safe. It's looking like it's in a good place. And as T-Shroom said, even though we're having a rise in price right now, I'm not necessarily going to say that this rally we've had today is based off this news, because we actually, since this news came out, have both dipped in price and now rallied back up. But long term, like, this is stuff you're not going to see on the charts today. Long term, this should have positive results if Donald Trump does win the U.S. presidency. But you were just speaking about the bubbles, T-Shroom. Let's go ahead. Let's get into some bubbles to see what's going on here. Got some big green ones today. AKT looks like it is number one here, up 16%. But it's got some other people coming for it. Toncoin is coming up here. We need to talk about Ton more frequently. Again, it made some headlines recently when it got above both Dogecoin and Cardano, and then it did get recaptured. It's back down to 9. Dogecoin recaptured the number 8 spot, but don't sleep on Toncoin.
Yeah,
definitely one that could make a move. In this
what I'll say, Tim, is that we do talk about it every now and then, but not a ton.
Wow.
We're having fun.
When we do talk about frequently, Render up 10%. I haven't looked at the Render chart today. I didn't get to look at as many charts today. When you're on dad duty, you don't get to look at charts as frequently as other times. But Render up 10%. So I'm interested. We will definitely have to check out the Render chart. Is that Arweave? That's not Arweave, is it?
It is Arweave, Tim. Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought Arweave's symbol was different. Okay, Arweave up 9%. Good to see. AIOZ is up 9% as well. And of course, and we talked about Hex. But Hex, not a coin I'm holding, not a coin I plan on holding, but for any Hexicans out there.
Hexicans. Is that a thing? Is that what they're called?
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. That's what the community calls themselves, the Hexicans.
I don't think they do, but that's what they should call themselves. I would.
No, I'm pretty. Again, I'm telling people, put a 1 in chat if I'm right that the Hex community calls themselves Hexicans. Put a 2 in chat if I'm just full of it.
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
Tree City West said Def are Hexicans. LOL. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. You know what? That just took my perspective on Hex 10 being best from a 2 to a 3. Just because of that.
Does that make you more likely to buy it, to join that community?
It makes me more likely to buy it, but I am still very far from buying it. We'll put it that way.
Okay. That's fair.
Not bullish on Hex, but I love the Hexicans name. That's just great. That made my day.
Let's take a look at the top 10 here. Let me refresh just to make sure I get the most up-to-date data. There we go. All right, 24 hours. This is a little bit different than I have at work. Obviously, I'm on a different computer here. But Bitcoin, even though we are rallying within the last couple of hours, still down in the last 24. Not by a lot, only 0.19, but it is down. Ethereum up 0.25, BNB up 1.1, Solana up 0.8. We have negative XRP, which looks like, other than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's just barely in the red, I stand corrected. Cardano and XRP, the only two in the red here in the top 10. As we mentioned, Toncoin is up 10%, so it takes the cake for biggest gainer of the top 10. Let's go ahead, T-Shroom, and take a look at what is happening on the charts. As we mentioned a little earlier, we did recapture here on Bitcoin. We recaptured this red level as support. Now, let me take down LuxAlgo for a second. Always, the charts are brought to you guys by LuxAlgo, and we will bring those back up. But I just wanted to bring back to anyone's attention, maybe you're newer here, we have been tracking a descending channel. Now, there's different ways of drawing this. Caleb Franzen, I'm interested. He had a different one going, so I do want to give that line. I'll draw it a different color. I'm going to make this green. He had this drawn more like I'll leave that wick out. He had this more drawn like this. So he actually had us in a way where we have not. Let's go blue here, where we have not broken this level of resistance. The chart I was tracking had 3 touches though. 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually 4. And then we broke through it. Now, again, we kind of rode it as support for a while, broke below it here yesterday and actually early this morning. And then within the last 8 hours, we have made a move back up above. Now is when we're going to go ahead and bring in Lux Algo, take a look at what it is saying about Bitcoin here on the 4-hour chart. I will zoom out and take a look at the daily chart because that's going to give us a more longer term perspective. But on the 4-hour chart, remember I told you guys to at least expect down here to 61.5 at the top of the smart trail concept. It turned out we went all the way and bounced off of the strong line of the smart trail concept down here. The wick went to 60,700, but we closed candles right below 61,000. So as a whole, this is a bullish move. I did tell, again, I looked at some charts this morning. If you were in our VIP trading group and you're using Lux Algo, I didn't see anyone respond to this, so I don't know if anyone took advantage of it, but I did see here on the 4-hour chart, T-Shroom, they did print a sell order on Lux Algo, but I said in the group, I said, I don't think this one is necessarily going to hold up. I think this is one that's a false flag. It's too early to say for sure, but anytime you see a sell order on the bottom of a candle, or the bottom of a move, that's a good sign. That's a good sign for a couple reasons. A, that's not a good signal, so don't respond to it. But B, that shows you how strong the bullish bounce was, that even though the mathematical equation that caused the charts to print sell happened, the bulls were able in the next two candles to bounce back up. That's actually a case for strength of the bulls right now, a very, very positive sign. As I said, we need to zoom out here for a second. Let's go take a look at the daily chart where there's a little bit more positivity, I would say. Now, we haven't printed a fresh buy signal just yet, so that still keeps these lower ranges from 58,800 to down towards 54,000. That keeps those technically in play, but not necessarily needed. Why? Well, because the most recent sell order was way back on April 15th. And as you can see, we've already hit the take profit. We just haven't on the daily chart seen a significant showing of strength. We did rally back up to an order block. We did get rejected at it, but there's still liquidity up there. So I'm kind of watching what we're seeing on that 4-hour chart where we're seeing the bullish trend seem to be the stronger trend, and the daily chart showing kind of an intermediate, hey, we're not necessarily bullish yet, but we did take the bearish bleed we needed, as saying this is the continuation of that long-term perspective that I've had, that this is the sideways, slow, choppy movement on Bitcoin. And notice here, guys, the zone that I drew, let's turn off Lux here for a second. The zone that I drew months ago, again, I drew this zone before the halving with the prediction that we would travel through the summer sideways on Bitcoin with the majority of price staying in this yellow box between 60,400 and 71,000, give or take, with occasional maybe wicks and candles slightly below and above. Notice we bounced right there on the bottom of that golden box. So this prediction continues to hold up as being a pretty solid one. Let's see, though, before we move on from Bitcoin, let's just take a look at what we have in the way of oscillators. Now, again, we're seeing a lot of things kind of move up here, but I want to bring things to your attention here on the daily chart. This could still take over a week to play out, so I'm not going to try to FUD people, but we are seeing a more overextended stochastics RSI that, while it's curving back the upside, its most recent move was overextended to the upside. RSI is curving back up, but recently we've rejected twice on that 50 RSI zone. That's not a positive thing. To regain bullish momentum on the daily chart, and that's the key here, I'm not talking about the 4-hour chart where things are looking bullish. I'll show you that in a second. On the daily chart, the longer term perspective over the next couple of weeks, this is showing us that it's not that we're in the gutter, but there's still some negative signs. The MACD is kind of trading sideways, slightly up, but sideways, not giving us a lot of strength there either. And then we get in here to the Lux Algo oscillator, where we just have a lot of very small, I guess volatility would imply very big, very limited volatility, right? The money flow is flipping positive and negative so fast because it's never catching any control. So I'm not seeing anything here that's screaming buy or sell. That is the epitome of boring sideways looking chart action. Let's see what the 4-hour oscillators are saying, though, before we move on and take a look at other coins. This is backing up my statement that the 4-hour was looking good. We have the stochastics RSI bouncing from being overextended to the downside. You love to see it. We got a long way to the upside on that one. You can see right now the RSI flirting with the 50, so we do need to see this get above it to feel confident. But again, what I saw on Stochastics RSI and what I'm about to show you on the other ones, I think that the 4 hour definitely can get the RSI above. That's a positive movement right there. The MACD has just crossed, or is about to cross bullish, and looks like it has momentum to the upside on the 4 hour. And then, of course, let's go over here. We've had the reversal. We had the bullish momentum. The money flow is still going negative, but you can see it starting to curve sideways. If we can get that money flow flowing positive again, then that's going to be your entry point for a 4 hour long scalp based off the 4 hour chart. But when I see all this bullishness on the 4 hour, and again, I'll bring up the indicators here. I love seeing this. I love seeing the bullishness that I'm watching here, but it does keep me at bay when I look at the daily chart, and the daily chart's not giving me that same overwhelming positivity, more of just saying, hey, we're not really sure what we want to do. There's not a lot of momentum, bullish or bearish right now. So keep an eye on that. Tisha, let's check out a couple altcoins. I mentioned one of them I did want to take a look at was Render. Let's start off with some Render. We definitely have a community of people who love to get our takes on Render. This was one that I was looking for a good short option on the on the 4 hour chart that never really did present itself very well, but it looks like it could be. And I'll explain why here in a second. But you can see on the 4 hour chart a beautiful bounce off of an order block and the smart trail concept, paired with a buy signal from ALGO. This is why this indicator is so lethal. And now we're heading back up to, and more than likely, we'll end up hitting our take profit. Remember a couple of days ago when I made that trade setup? Actually, this is what I did. I made a trade setup where I went to go a little short here. A short position, and I came up here somewhere above 1150, give or take. And I had to take profit back down here at these breaker blocks and to stop loss somewhere up here above the take profit. And I told you guys at first, I was like, oh, it doesn't look like we're going to hit it today. I'm going to kind of cancel this for now. This is now back in play. A potential short here around $11.54. Why? Well, A, the bullishness is about to run out. We're about to hit our take profit. But let's take a look at our oscillators here. This is what we got going on. Boom. All right. So technically speaking, you could maybe even make an argument to enter into a short now, but you probably want to wait for bearish momentum. But we had the red reversal. We had the bearish momentum. The money flow was still positive, and we had these excessive buyers. But I told you guys, a lot of times when the excessive buyers leave, it falls off a cliff. While we're bullish right now, notice that despite the rally, the money flow is still going negative. So to me, what I'm watching for is we've already had the reversal say, hey, we're kind of overextended. We already see the money flow that it was massively bullish, but now it's heading to the downside. When I see this 4 hour oscillator flip and go bearish on the 4 hour chart, that is my trigger to say, man, I got to be in this trade. And that very well could give us a trade setup similar to what we're seeing right there. Now, we might not make it there. I'm honestly kind of tempted to say, you know what? Let's just retest if we can get back up to 1121 right here. I'll lower my stop loss just a little bit there. But this is what I'm kind of looking at now for Render. I think this could very much be in the cards for Render. I made a prediction yesterday, and I told you guys it's not going to happen overnight. But a lot of altcoins, I do believe, could see falls of upwards of 20%. This right here, by the way, if my trade works out, you can see when I look at the take profit, 22.32%. That means Render, if my trade works out, would fall what I predicted it would. The reason I'm saying this is, yes, we've had some other rallies like for Solana. Solana definitely making a move back to the upside. But when you take a look out here at some of our daily charts, daily charts, we're still going to see some weakness in these indicators. The rally we had here more recently got rejected on our smart trail concept. Our oscillators are overextended here on Solana, just like they were for Bitcoin. They're like this for Solana. They're like this for, I believe, Chainlink as well. Yes, they're like this. Is Cardano's the same on daily chart? There's one altcoin that's not this way, and that must be Cardano, because Cardano looks like it's heading on its way up. But I still think Cardano is going to be running into resistance of its own and still has a pretty aggressive take profit way down at 35 cents and an order block at 37. Ultimately, I think that those are definitely in play. I'm still watching, despite the fact that we've had some bullishness play out over the last couple of hours, I'm still watching for a lot of your favorite altcoins to potentially go another 20% to the downside. Don't hate me. Don't get mad at me. I'm just looking at the charts. But, Ian, if you're upset about that, that's your prerogative. I look at charts and look at opportunities for 20% dips to say, wow, what an amazing buying opportunity to buy into one of my favorite altcoins that I'm bullish on for the long term at a cheaper price. You can be mad and try to deny the bearishness, but we're seeing the charts still continue to say, hey, this rally, this looks good on the 1 hour chart. Heck, this looks great on the 10-minute chart. But you move out to the 4 hour, you move out to the daily, and it's like, all right, the 4 hour, maybe we have a little more bullishness in play here. But if I'm talking about how I'm investing for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we're not seeing the overwhelming positivity. In fact, we're seeing the calls that the bottom for this dip is not quite in yet. Not saying the bear market. I am not saying that Cardano and Solana and ICP and AVAX are going to set brand new lows. I'm saying since their more recent rally tops, and we've been in this channel of downward, lower highs and lower lows, I don't believe the lower lows are quite in just yet before the rally starts later on this summer. There's a lot of charts there. We're going to cover more towards the end in the Q&A, but that kind of gets us settled there. And also all of our VIP trading members, remember, tonight's Thursday, so right after this live show, I will be going live with our VIP trading members. We're going to continue to talk and educate on better ways to use Lux Algo. I think today we're going to be covering that oscillator. So if you want to share my screen, I'm going to show you guys my tricks on how I use this oscillator to trade. And again, my trades right now, we're sitting at about 85, 90% of the time when I enter trades, they end up ending profitable. The other, I either set the stop loss too aggressive and I get stopped out, or it ends up being the wrong call. And I'm glad I set my stop loss because I called the wrong direction. I'm going to show you guys tonight, VIP trading group, how to do that. If you're interested in being in that VIP trading group, the way you do it is by signing up for Lux Algo, creating a ticket on our Discord with your email you signed up for, and I will admit you into the group. And I thought about it. If you don't want Lux Algo, that's completely fine. We talk trading in that trading group. We do a lot of Lux Algo, but we'll talk trading in general, some good trade up setups. If you want to be a part of that group, but you're like, you know what, I'm not ready to spend the money on Lux Algo just yet. If you join, which I mean, you're going to spend the money one way or the other, but if you join our silver, or no, not silver, gold, what's the platinum? Is that the highest one?
I think it's diamond.
Diamond? Okay, I think I wanted platinum, and we've settled on diamond because T-shirt wanted diamond.
I always get my way.
If you join the diamond membership, that's another way you guys can get into Lux Algo. If for some reason you just don't want to purchase Lux Algo, that is okay. I will allow people who are diamond members to join the trading group as well. So that is the little spiel I have there. T-Shroom, we covered one of the big stories, but that's not the only big story happening today in crypto. Let's get into some of the headlines. And before we do that, actually, we have not addressed this yet. People need to be smashing the like button. If you guys are liking the stream, if you guys are liking what we are doing so far and you are loving this channel, smash the like. YouTube loves when you smash the like. It helps the channel out a lot. And also, if you're loving the channel and this is your first time or second time and you haven't hit subscribe, it's absolutely free. That's one way to support the bros and to help promote crypto education. Smash that subscribe button and join the channel for daily content just like this. T-Shroom, let's get into the news.
Absolutely. And this is not true, but it could be. Eric Wallen said, Diamond members get shirtless one-on-ones with Tim.
That's not true.
And so Tim, just to confirm, that's not true.
That's not true.
Are you sure? Are you
so.
Are you shirtless? Okay. We're moving on into the stories here. These are brought to you by Arculus. Arculus is our cold wallet partner. If you want to have the best way, the safest way to store your crypto, head on over to Arculus in the link in the description of this video to get your discount, and the discount code is BROZ. So go on in and get your Arculus cold storage, the safest way to store crypto. We also have the quote of the day we didn't get to. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle, from the legend there, MLK. I think maybe Winston Churchill has more quotes, but I think he's probably up there with MLK. I don't know. What do you think, Tim? Who do you think has more quotes? We don't know the answer to this, but
literally no idea. I both good. We'll settle there.
All right. Well, we got some jobs numbers. Weekly jobs claims jumped to 231,000, the highest since August. Jobless claims totaled a seasonal adjusted 231,000 for the week ending on May 4th, up 22,000 from the week before. It was the highest claims number since August 2023. Continuing claims, which run a week behind, increased to 1.78 million, up 17,000 from the previous week. It's simple, bros. It's simple. Bad news is good news. Bad news for the labor market is good news for investors. Why? Because an uptick in unemployment rate, right, which this is implied to be that side of the house, the unemployment rate, that is putting fear, putting pressure on the FOMC, the Fed, Jerome Powell, to consider cutting sooner rather than later. Doesn't mean they're going to, right, but it puts pressure. It doesn't relieve pressure. It puts more pressure on Jerome Powell. So when you add that variable to the calculus of their formula, and it's not a specific formula, but just how they make decisions, unemployment rate go up, more likely for cut. Price go up for risk assets such as Bitcoin, Microsoft, Amazon, and Solana, right? That's the way that works. So bad news equals good news. Tim, any thoughts on these job print, or is it pretty much straight cut?
If you listen to Jerome Powell, this is one of the things he's been kind of looking at to help inform his decisions about if he wants to cut rates. Ultimately, there's no reason. If the economy is doing so well and unemployment is so low, unless inflation is just dropping like a rock, there's no reason to start cutting rates. But these are the types of things when jobs start getting cut, it's not just that you start to see an economic issue. This also should have a positive impact on inflation. If jobs are being cut, that means that companies are looking at, they have some problems. They're not making the sales they need to sell. Well, what do you do when you're not making the sales you need to sell to keep your cost up? You got to cut price. Well, when you cut price, you also need to cut some jobs so you can continue to afford it. That's kind of the evolution of this. So the assumption from Jerome Powell and the Fed is, all right, we just saw jobless claims go up. That should be another tick of positivity for inflation going down. This could help us make the decision to cut rates sooner rather than later.
Yep. You got it. You got it. So, it's a favorable print for investors. It's unfavorable for, the poorest Americans, unfortunately, the people in poverty who need jobs. Well, somebody who could swoop in to save the day right here. Let's give them a chance. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
No president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%. But look, people have a right to be concerned. No.
So when you run it through the fact checker, Tim, this does not come through fact check positive. This is fact check negative, unfortunately, for the sitting president of the United States. He assumed office January 20th, 2001. According to the inflation rates, January of 2001 came in at 1.4. So 9% did occur, but that wasn't until June 2022. So Joe Biden's quote here just kind of continues to illustrate, unfortunately, that when it comes to the economy, Joe Biden is out of touch.
I'll say this. It's just the dumbest playbook in the world for Joe Biden to say this, because he lied in a situation where he didn't necessarily have to lie. Why lie and say it was 9% when you came in? That's just factually incorrect, and it's stupid. What he should have done, and I know we're talking about Joe Biden, so what should have and could have and all the other things is irrelevant, but a legitimate argument could be made. Again, he's ruined things since then, but it could be made that the 9% when it hit at the top of his presidency was not mostly his fault. The reason we went to 9% is because of all of the stimulus checks. Well, were the stimulus checks going out while he was president? No, they weren't. That was happening actually when Trump was president. And ultimately, this all goes back to COVID, yada, yada, yada. That's probably why he doesn't want to open that bag and all the lies and everything else. But if he was trying to make a legitimate point, he could have made the argument that he was dealt a bad hand by coming in with factors that were going to raise inflation already in play. Now, he did nothing to fix it, so that's on him. But this was just a situation where he went the wrong direction with the argument and just bold-faced told. He didn't lie, actually, by the way. Joe Biden doesn't lie. He reads what's on the teleprompter or he reads what someone told him to say. So somebody else lied to Joe Biden to lie to the people of the United States. But I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden, and I'm also not going to 1,000% blame him for the 9% inflation. There's a series of bad decisions that have been being made for a long, long time by both people on the left and the right. When I saw that clip, it was one of those things. I was like, "Gosh, like why? Like, just people. Some people are just idiots. Like you don't even have to lie on certain things, and they do it anyway. It's just habitual.
It's a what?
Habitual.
Habitual. Yeah, well,
there's a bad word snuck in there, but as long as I keep the beginning of the word the way it is in the end, then my mom says I'm allowed to say it.
He needs some milk.
Well, we're having fun either way. We do not use any kind of profanities here, so habitual was the word that was used there. And again, Tim is in his home studio there with the suboptimal audio. But yeah, no, Tim, when I listened to this, my first thought was not that he's lying. My first thought is he probably thought that he did come in under 9%. But the reality is he's just out of touch, right? And look, does the president at every given time know every single statistic about everything? No, right? But this is a really important one. This is the inflation rate of the country that you are the leader of, right? This is an important one, and it's really in my view, you've got unemployment rate, you've got inflation, right? You've got the GDP, you've got new home builds, you got manufacturing PMI. You have a lot of important statistics to keep up with, but inflation's kind of the key one, especially headline. That's the one that everybody knows. So to get this one wrong, I mean, it's not a huge shocker, and you guys probably want us to move on. So we're going to move on.
Well, let me respond real quick because NT So Nice said that argument doesn't hold up either. Even Joe passed more stimulus, finalizing the ignition of the inflation. Listen, he's still to blame. A lot of people are to blame. What I'm saying is he could have made that argument and at least sounded somewhat credible in the way he lied. Like, this lie is just factually incorrect that he told. He could have spun up a better web of lies that sounds better by saying, I didn't print all of those stimulus checks that caused 9% inflation. But my point degrades. I agree that he's a part of it, but my take was simply on the idiocy of the lie. We can keep on moving on, though, T-Shirt.
Yeah. JB, I don't know if this is the real Justin Bieber, but JB, our newest member today, said listening while using Chat GPT, and then it looks like you're using Chat GPT to come up with like quotables. Learning from their reasoning is the quotable here. And because you recently asked, is what I'm doing useful? So you're wanting feedback on this. I think it could be useful. I'm not exactly sure what it is you're doing, like what your Chat GPT prompt is, but you said bad news labor equals good news for investors. That's true. So I think you're onto something here. It needs a little more time to cook. That's what I'll say. But thank you for becoming a member, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you here. And you said, yes, I try to create value. We appreciate it. Look, I don't think this is obnoxious. I don't think it's useless. I think that you're getting towards something that's more valuable for the show potentially than what I'm seeing so far. But cool. I think it's cool. All right, ready to get into the next story here. Major U.S. banks collaborate with MasterCard to test tokenized banking settlements. This one could be thick, Tim. Let's get into it here. By utilizing a shared ledger technology called Regulated Settlement Network, RSN for short, various assets will be converted into tokens and settled on a distributed ledger, streamlining the settlement procedures. Sound familiar? The current proof of concept trials, RSN, specifically simulate settlements in the United States dollar. And Raj D, head of blockchain and digital assets over at MasterCard, said this: the application of shared ledger technology to dollar settlement could unlock the next generation of market infrastructures where programmable settlements are 24/7 and frictionless. This obviously opens up the question, what about crypto? What about private crypto? And one thing I also note here is that in the list of the organizations, we do not find BlackRock. We do not find Fidelity. We do not find 21 shares, right? We see Citibank. We see JP Morgan. Citibank, very quiet on crypto for their AUM. MasterCard and Visa and Swift, right? So there's some obvious conclusions that you could kind of draw here, but what I will say is that this technology is in trial. And when you have some of the biggest Wall Street banks kind of coming together to trial a new product that they're going to all have to cooperate with, doesn't necessarily mean what it kind of makes me think of is a dysfunctional family Thanksgiving dinner. Is just because they're testing a product doesn't mean that they're going to reach compromises and end up shipping the product. There's a lot of cooks in this kitchen right here. But the obvious question is, what about crypto? So, Tim, do you think that Wall Street's getting together? All the big banks are coming together and they're going to create a RSN, a regulated settlement network that is going to compete and wipe all of altcoins to zero?
You know, when you look at things like this, it's like, man, they're so close to getting it, but they're not. When you look at cryptocurrency, there's two features. I mean, there's probably more than this, but I'm going to get into the two main features of crypto for especially anyone who's newer. Maybe you're just an investor, you just want to make some money, and you're like, man, I don't really fully understand the crypto world necessarily. When Bitcoin was created, the first cryptocurrency, the concept was not just the blockchain technology that made transactions faster than the current system, trackable really easily. It was also the decentralized aspect of it. Why has crypto gained so much value? Even the ones like Solana and others, we like to talk about how Solana is really not that decentralized. It's actually pretty centralized. Well, it's more decentralized than the current way banks operate and the way that money is transacted. So when banks are looking at current crypto and they're seeing the effectiveness and the speed and the cool aspect of the blockchain technology, and they're creating these things, it's like, all right, that's good and it will help you. But ultimately, why are people flooding to crypto? It's not just because the bank's transaction speeds. Most people could care less about the speed of the transactions on the banks. Most people are waking up to the concept of, it's not good to be dealing in a currency that's so centralized where one small entity, especially an elite entity, makes the decision on the value of what is in my account, my wallet, my anything. So I don't see this being a big deal unless they play by the rules of not inflating the value like crazy and almost continuing to follow the laws of economics, where it's like, hey, whatever's the strongest form of money is where people are going to go to. That doesn't have to be decentralized to do it, but ultimately, I'm just going to be honest. It doesn't matter if something's decentralized or centralized. If it's centralized and it stays firm and it's not constantly inflated and there's not all these crazy rules about it, then ultimately that thing is going to create value. It's going to be good. People are going to flock to it. It's when things start to get inflated and the value gets manipulated and controlled where people will dip out. So if Wall Street can grasp that and say, you know what, we got to learn from the mistakes of fiat currency. It wasn't just that we had banking systems with dollars. It was the actual dollar itself that was the problem. Then this could be a legitimate thing, but I don't think you're ever going to be able to strip away the attraction to the decentralized aspect where there is no control whatsoever. You never have to worry if anyone would ever take control and cause some problems. That's the real attractiveness of what normal people call crypto. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Cardano. We're talking about, again, I'll even at this point still throw the likes of Solana and Ethereum and others, even if they're being accused of being centralized. They're still way more decentralized than the current banking system. And hopefully the banks learn to wake up to that realization and kind of come along crypto with this new plan.
Yeah, and I think it has everything to do with the campaign this year, and I think it has to do with BlackRock kind of taking the other side of this, which is they're like, we want a freaking Ethereum ETF, right? Fidelity's saying it's the same thing, right? There's kind of the Axis and the Allies, not to compare this to World War II in all of its implications, right? But there's kind of a split on Wall Street, and it's not the first time that's ever happened, believe it or not. But there's a split on Wall Street, and one is the future is crypto, right? AVAX, Solana, Cardano, and certainly Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, I think Bitcoin kind of transcends this specific conversation we're having. I think that it's a commodity now, and it's seen a little bit differently than crypto, especially to Wall Street, and more every day. But I think on the other side of BlackRock, you have Citibank, you have JP Morgan, right? You have Vanguard as well, that are kind of like, hey, if we can get Biden reelected, we're going to try to wipe out crypto, and Wall Street is going to run its own. It's going to basically be a Swift 2.0 on the dollar, and all of you crypto weirdos can just go hang out with BlackRock and pretend like you're one of us, right? I think that's kind of their positioning here. A, Biden's not guaranteed to win in 24, and B, again, what I said, it's kind of like a big Thanksgiving dinner. Just because they have a plan doesn't mean they can get along and execute the plan. And then C is they're probably going to suck at blockchain. They're probably going to suck at doing what they're trying to do. But if they do suck, then they may outsource, and they may outsource to HBAR. They may outsource to Quant or one of these ISO compliant coins to operate their ledger system. So we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't say it's early days because this is happening now in a campaign year. And if this starts to build momentum and be an issue that, we probably won't hear we'll hear about it here in the crypto space, but the majority of Americans are not going to be hearing about this because they don't care about, they have no skin in the game of the future of money, right? They're going to sit there and they're going to hold their stocks and their real estate. This is a Wall Street issue, right? And Wall Street is very much clamoring to try and get ahead the next century of fees that they can collect. And they think that they can collect it from crypto, as best illustrated by BlackRock's entry into the ETF game. Let's go ahead and jump on into the next story here, Tim. This one's interesting. I'm not going to get too much into detail because I have not digested it at all. But let me preface it with the last time we heard from Vitalik, he had introduced rainbow sharding, I believe it was, or maybe it was rainbow staking. And now I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Vitalik Buterin's multi-dimensional gas pricing proposal aims to boost Ethereum efficiency. Great. That's awesome, right? I can't say anything negative about it because I have no idea what that really means at all. But it sounds great, right? Multi-dimensional gas. That sounds like something that only a genius nerd could come up with, and so I applaud him. But rainbows, multi-dimensional, Tim, are the folks at the Ethereum Foundation, are they just blowing hot smoke up the crypto investors, where, or is there something really going on here? Is there true innovation? Are they really solving math problems more efficiently at the end of the day?
As you said, a lot of this type of stuff is just well over my head. In fact, there's a new, I don't think we covered it. Maybe you did on a morning show, but there's another new the EIP that he's going to list. And what's nuts is even in office, there's a couple like top mind degen people in office. Yeah, this new one. They read it and they walked away saying, I have no idea what this is actually supposed to do. So are they blowing smoke up our butts? I don't know. I don't consider myself smart enough in this category to be able to tell for certain. What I am big on, though, I still think there's a large runway for Ethereum to be very successful. I told you guys before, if you're talking about the next 15, 20 years, what crypto is still going to be here, the only one I have a strong confidence in is Bitcoin. I'm close on Chainlink, saying I think Chainlink's there as well. But even the likes of Ethereum, I feel good about a lot of top altcoins. But any altcoin, no matter how big it is right now, the whole space is still so new and so young. If they don't stay on top of their game and constantly evolve and constantly build and constantly make what they're doing better, and again, I'm not going to be the best judge of what makes it better and what doesn't, but I will say, like, if they don't continue to innovate and improve, they will be left behind. So good for Ethereum, good for Cardano and Solana, and for all of these projects that have made their way into the top grouping of crypto. They have massive market caps. But if you don't think that couldn't go away overnight because they dropped the ball and someone else figures it out before them, then you're kidding yourself. Yeah. And that's the question mark right now. So while I don't know what Vitalik's doing, it is good to see that Ethereum is continuing to innovate and update and upgrade, because if they don't, they will be left behind in the dust.
Yeah, it's clearly an attempt to stay relevant, but is it just that? Are they also implementing, innovation? And I have every reason to believe that Ethereum is number 2, right? So probably Vitalik is actually coming up with innovation. It's just, it's going to take some time before the market really understands this. And this is why, as soon as I saw this article, I sent it over to Crux to kind of review and to take a little bit of a deeper dive, because that's what it deserves. This is a serious innovation that could be coming to Ethereum. So obviously, disclaimer, Tim and I are not developers, so this is why we're kind of giving these types of answers. You might find other channels they know everything about that type of stuff, and that's great. Van Eyck's new meme coin index soars by 195%, outperforming other crypto indices. Tim, this episode is brought to you by iTrust Capital. It's who we trust to store our crypto IRAs, which are tax advantaged accounts. There we go. And I want to get to what these meme coins are. We've got Dogecoin, Sheeb, Floki, Dog with Hat, and Bonk. Do you think that these are worthy of being on Van Eyck's index here of meme coins?
I think so, because these are the top ones pretty much. I mean, so here, let's just run through these. Dogecoin is the original meme coin, but it's moved past true meme coin status. It was once a joke, but now it's actually, I mean, there's still talks that it'll be used heavily for the exchange of money on X. I'm gonna. It's still a meme coin, and we'll leave it in the category. But for the purpose of saying where should we categorize it based off of investing, I don't think Dogecoin is a meme coin in the world of investing. I think the same thing with Shiba Inu. That's a team that is developing very, very hard, very strong to get out of that meme coin world. And then you look at the others. I mean, Pepe is just a strong. It was a strong meme on the internet before cryptocurrency was a thing. So of course now you pair it with cryptocurrency, and it's going to be something. I mean, if I was going to say ones that would lead away, Floki, Dog with Hat, and Bonk would be on the list. But I think when you're looking at meme coins, it's hard, and I'm not saying this impossible, but it's hard to pick a meme coin to pick a different meme coin off that list to say it has a better chance of surviving than anything on that list.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what type of value Van Eyck is thinking they're supplying the market. I mean, obviously meme coins are a big narrative in 2024 crypto, and I don't think if you'd asked the general crypto, commentator in January of 2023, are memes going to be one of the biggest narratives? They probably would have said, well, maybe in the later stages, because that's a topping signal, right? Yeah. But I don't think that we thought it would be, as big as like what we thought probably GameFi or DeFi would be. One of the first narratives to kind of have its pop and popularity.
And also remember, here's another thing that I'm reminded this actually frequently. Meme coins are the greatest on-ramp for regular retail investors. Wealthy investors hear about Bitcoin and they get in the world of crypto. But I've talked with a lot of people when I say, oh, I have a YouTube channel that we teach people how to invest wisely in cryptocurrency, they're not asking me, what do you think about Ethereum? What do you think about Cardano? What do you think about Solana? What do you think about? They're not asking me any of the legitimate layer ones or any of the legitimate projects that have real use case value. They're asking me, what do you think about Floki? What do you think about Bonk?
Really?
What do you think about Pepe? What do you think about MAGA? They're asking me about meme coins. Because those are the ones that circulate and are more digestible to like, I mean, you're going to see them all over TikTok. You're going to see them all over like Instagram Reels. You're going to see them in more digestible fields. If I'm not investing in crypto, I'm not sitting here and watching a 1 hour long show going into the charts and going into the details, but I will consume a 20-second video on my phone. And I will say, oh, wow, that meme coin, man, my friend made 100% profit in 2 weeks on Floki. Man, maybe I should invest in Floki. And ultimately, that's one of the biggest on-ramps of people getting into crypto is they buy these crap meme coins, but then they're now financially invested in it. So now they go watch a crypto YouTube channel for 20 minutes, hour long, and say, all right, I'm down $300. How do I fix that and get back into it? And then they learn, oh, okay, I invested in a meme coin. There's way better projects for long-term investment out there. I need to learn more about those. But anyone who says meme coins don't have their place, meme coins, you can make or lose a lot of money there. I'm not a meme coin investor, but I am reminded to thank meme coins for one purpose. It actually does bring and drive a lot of attention into the crypto space and an involvement in the crypto space. Because again, there's a lot of people. Remember that Ohio State video we showed the other day, T-Shirt, where people were booing?
Mm-hmm.
when people, Jordan Peterson said this at a Bitcoin conference 2 years ago.
Nice.
He bought Bitcoin just so he could start learning what it is, because he said until you have skin in the game, you actually don't want to do the due diligence to research what it is. So
True.
there's all these critics of crypto who hate it, but to be honest, they've never invested a dime. They've never done a lick of research. And until they actually invest, they never do that research. So meme coins bring people investing into space, and now that they have skin in the game and they're invested, it's time for them to learn to protect their money. And I think that's actually a potential beautiful thing long term.
Yeah. Yeah. I generally agree with that. Tim, we did get a super chat here, $4.99 from Speedy Stock said, "What's your thoughts on LLY?"
No idea, and I don't know. I mean, there's not a dollar symbol in front of it, so I can't prove that that's a
just the letters, I think, is what he's asking.
I don't know
right?
what LLY is though, so I don't know if that stands for something, or if it's a coin. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very cool. And let's keep moving here. So Donald Trump, right? He's coming in. He's swooping in. We heard the clip already. He's coming in. He's saying this specifically, though. Donald Trump says he will accept crypto for campaign donations. This will be an interesting one for the media to kind of digest as well. But with only a few minutes left in the show, I think, Tim, you said you had to go pretty promptly after 4, right?
No, I mean, just right after this is the VIP trading stream. So when we're done here, we'll jump in over there for 45 minutes to an hour or so.
Okay. Well, let's come back and land on this headline here with Donald Trump. But let's go ahead and jump on into the factoid of the day, brought to you by a loaded screen of iTrust Capital. It's who we trust for our crypto IRAs. Tim, the cost of renovating the Santiago Bernabeu Real Madrid Stadium has cost how much so far for the renovation?
It's gonna be in the millions. So I'm gonna rule out A. I would be very surprised if it got into the billions just yet, but it is gonna be.
And I will say the Factoid Elf did want you to have one visual reference. This is a Santiago Bernabeu, somewhere in Madrid, Spain. It's very beautiful. It's very cool. Yeah. But apparently it needed a revamp. And so that brings us to the factoid of the day.
Yeah, so I'm down between C and D. 41 million barely buys you anything anymore. Definitely not a massive and very beautiful stadium like that. It's between C and D, and that's a big difference because we're effectively saying 500 million or 2 billion. Very big difference. I want to say, well, gosh. Now I'm really leaning towards D because I'm thinking about it. It's like, well, they're paying certain players 500 million for like a 10-year deal. I'm going to stick to my rule, T-Shroom, of where I don't go with the largest one. And maybe the Factoid Elf knows this and is tricking me now, but that rule has not failed me yet. So I'm going to say C, that it's not quite as crazy as we're thinking here at 2 billion, but it is a lot of money. And let's go 529 million.
Oh, you were wrong.
That's because the Factoid Elf listened. That's fine. I'm good. I'm challenging the Elf to upgrade their thoughts.
Absolutely. So, Real Madrid's Bernabeu Stadium renovation has cost $1.76 billion. Of course, that's going to be a little bit of a currency exchange. $1.91 billion. That's a lot of money, Tim. What would you do with 1.9 right now? Do you have to spend it all by the end of the day, though? Or deploy it all? You just buy all Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And give it to who? You just keep it all for yourself?
Oh, I mean, we're low still, so I'd buy Bitcoin and then I'd borrow against that sucker and then do other things with it. So I'd invest in companies.
What other things? Invest in what? You said invest in companies. Invest in what companies?
I don't know off the top of my head because I don't have $1.9 billion. But if I had $1.9 billion, ultimately, you said I'd have to spend it by the end of the day. I will spend it and buy Bitcoin, and then I'll use the rest of my time that I have in the next couple of weeks and months to decide what I want to do with it from there. But I spent it. I bought Bitcoin in this analogy.
Yeah. Now, if you ask me, what would you do? I would say I would renovate a popular European soccer stadium, or as they call it there, a football stadium. Well, obviously, I'm kidding. I would build AI robots for the Marines. Robot dogs with AI weapons undergo testing by the U.S. Marine Corps. The details here are less interesting. Tim, do you think that we're not too far away from canine AI overlords walking the streets and making us stay home in futuristic dystopic lockdowns?
I mean, I know this is a joke of an article, but if we were going to take it seriously, why canines? Like, why not just make why not make a soldier?
I think they're probably doing both.
But they're definitely not going to put a realistic looking dog head on it. That'd just be pointless.
Tim, you have no taste. You have no taste in AI future AI weapons. So I think we're going to move on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we're getting some hate here in chat because we did not say we'd send any of that to the community. So first of all, I want you guys to know, I'm not saying I wouldn't send it to the community. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into Bitcoin first. Again, I can do a lot of things once it's into Bitcoin. I just had 24 hours to spend it. It might take me more than 24 hours to collect wallet information to gift out to you guys. I probably would do a lot more giveaways, do a lot more things. But I had to spend it on something quickly. And so Bitcoin is the right answer. The sad reality is, guys, I don't know if you guys knew this or not. We don't get $1.9 billion. So that's what
Okay,
makes this
Tim.
whole situation sad.
All right, Tim. We love it. We love it. I am getting... Guys, let us know if you have any questions. We're moving into question and answer. Probably not going to have too much time for this, but as we do, we'll get into the word of the day, which is haughty. I think I know what this means because I do consider myself to be a haughty. A little bit of a hottie. I fancy myself just a little bit. But what do you think this means, Tim?
Yeah, it's gonna be like full of yourself, selfish, stuck up.
Yeah, well, I think it has to mean it's just going to be a picture of me because I'm a hottie.
Okay, fair point. And if you took the time to edit the website to get your face in there, I would be very impressed.
Haughty.
Haughty, having or showing arrogant superiority and disdain for those one views as unworthy. So I was kind of expecting to be a picture of me. This looks nothing like me. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do the word of the day anymore because now my self-esteem has been crushed.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get here. Let's do some Q&A, everybody. What do we got? You guys can talk about coins. We can talk about topics. Just give us what you guys want to talk about for the next 10 minutes or so. Under the gun with Crypto Bullet said, "You running a fever shroom?"
Am I running a fever?
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Not that I know of.
We do need to announce the winner. We have this. Blackie Chan said, "Tim, we still have to do a community trade off." Oh yeah. That's different. We have to give away $100. But yeah, with weird Saturday streams recently, we have not re-entered a community trade with the $100 from Blackie Chan. All right, so
I thought we did do that one.
We have to do that. I'm going to be, man, this is where it gets really hard. No, we didn't do it because we entered the trade with a limit set up and it never triggered because we didn't want to waste the money and get stopped out. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to do that. I mean, I don't think this Saturday. Here's what's going to go down. There might be a Saturday stream. Well, I'll put it. T-Stream's going to do a Saturday stream. I might be here for the Saturday stream because, as I told you guys, I'm home today because my wife is sick. Now, I'm supposed to, this is the key word, I'm supposed to miss tomorrow and Saturday because we are supposed to be driving down to Florida for a Mother's Day get-together with her family. Taylor is afraid she might have strep. So we can't go see her family if she has strep. So I'm hoping that's not what it is. But on the off chance that is what is happening and she is sick, we're not going to be traveling, in which case I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here Saturday. So if that is the case, Blackie Chan, we will do that trade this Saturday. If she gets better and is feeling better and it's not strep throat, I think she's going to see a doctor in the morning or something, then we will be traveling and we'll have to push that till next week. And then we'll do that community trade. But good, and thank you for the reminder on that one. Super chat from Morgan Powell saying, best guesses for 88 this bull run. Thanks, guys. I'm going to be making a price prediction for Cardano, Morgan, updated one. I have one beforehand. I'm not going to give you the exact number. I made a video earlier detailing some things saying that I believe that Cardano could make it to between $8 to $10. I want you guys to know I do love Cardano, and I do plan on continuing to hold my Cardano. I'm looking at things and I'm going back in my analysis. Cardano has fallen down my predictive rankings. When I first made that prediction of $8 to $10, my guess was that Cardano was going to be somewhere in the realm of 5, 6, 7-ish area. I'm watching some things happen in Cardano that make me believe that Cardano it's going to fall. I still believe it's going to fall in the top 10. It's at number 10 right now. I think it actually does at one point fall to at least number 11, if not 12 or 13. But I think by the time it's all said and done, it squeaks its way back into like 9, 8, or 7, somewhere in that range. But because it's not going to get up into the 6, 5 area, the market cap should be a lower expectation. I don't think this is the right bull market for Cardano. I by no means think Cardano is going anywhere. I think it's going to be here for a long time. I think even some of these we're talking about earlier when we said like, hey, you need to continue to upgrade and rethink and evolve as things get better. Well, I think that the Cardano team, the IOHK team, has some of the best crypto minds out there. Do they move the fastest? Not necessarily. But they do things in such a way that others break and then go back to the drawing board and ultimately end up copying what the IOHK team does. That tells me that Cardano's team knows what they're doing to build for the future, but this just might not be their bull run. This isn't the one that they get all of the accolades and all of the money flowing their way. And so because of that, I'm not going to tell you the number, but I'm no longer predicting $8 to $10. I'm going to be lower than that. How much lower? I'll wait to give that number in my price prediction video, but hopefully that helps you, Morgan Powell, a little bit.
So, Tim, you sent me that Crypto Dave was the winner of the $100.
Oh, the $100.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is. And you did that very anticlimactically, but you pull it up. Yeah. So to win this, you guys had to tweet. Crypto Dave was the winner. I don't know. Is Crypto Dave in chat right now? Either way, we're going to be able to give it to him, but it'd be cool if he was in chat at the moment.
Here was the winning tweet.
The winning tweet, just as we said. And he threw in some extra emojis in there. It was all good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, that's the winner. That's the winner of $100. Guys, every single time we get to a new 1,000 subscribers, we give away another $100. Again, we just crossed 16. We're about to hit 16 too. So if you have not subscribed already and you want to be a part of the giveaways from here on out, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you pay attention because sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes like 3 days. But you want to know when we cross that next 1,000 mark and then know what you need to do to enter to win that $100. I'm going to keep you guys on your feet. Sometimes it'll be Discord. Sometimes it'll be Twitter. Sometimes we might even give away live in chat. What does that mean for you? You got to watch every single show, and you got to watch until the very end because we're always going to do these things at the end of the show. So you guys stick around and stay on. Yep, Crypto Dave is here. What's up, Dave? All right, yeah, Dave, make sure you get a DM with T Shroom to get the wallet information.
We're in touch.
Also.
Crypto Dave, if I have not DM'd you on Twitter, then I have DM'd a fake Crypto Dave, which I doubt is the case. I think I have DM'd the right Crypto Dave. So if you wouldn't mind, leave in the comments of this video if you are the real Crypto Dave. But now everybody's going to see that and they're going to make fake Crypto Dave YouTube profiles. So anyway, okay, good. He said that's me in the live chat. I think it's very unlikely that. Okay, I think we're good to go.
Listen, I don't know if I don't even know if he's lying here. Now he said I didn't even know it was a challenge. I just copied you guys. He said because the whole thing was I told everyone you had to go tag these 4. He must have been here because I specifically said you have to tag all 4.
Oh, he for sure. He for sure knew. He did the tweet perfectly.
Crypto Dave is going to win $100, but he's joined the ranks of. I love this community. The Investing Bros community is the top-notch crypto community in the game, but we are filled with a bunch of liars. I'll ask people all the time, put a 1 in chat if this is your first time, and a bunch of blue names will put one in chats. Like, that's just a lot. We don't make first-time watchers moderators, but that's the community we're a part of. I love you. It doesn't mean I don't love you, but you guys are liars. I lie from time to time too. I'm trying to work on it. Bitcoin inverse head and shoulders patterns thoughts. Rydal Sosa. Someone, it wasn't Rydal that said this, but someone in our Discord, and if you're watching, just remind me. I'm not remembering who said this. They talked about a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, and I'll look for a more zoomed in one here. Come on, load for me, screen. Well, my Wi-Fi just decided to poot out.
Whoa, language, Tim.
I know.
And I'm on your screen, by the way.
Trying to keep it. I know you are. And look how the history of Bitcoin's not going back past August. Why? There we go. All right, here we go. All right, so somebody was saying, they're like, well, if we were to drop back down to like 30,000, would that not be like a perfect inverse head and shoulders pattern? And I'm like, yeah, it would. Let's pretend Bitcoin's price does this and comes back all the way down here to 32 or whatever, and then moves to the upside. Well, now all of a sudden, you do have a nice – did not mean to grab that like that. You do have a nice left shoulder, head, and now a right shoulder. And that would be a very beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern. And let's just – I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm prefacing this whole thing by saying this. I don't think we have to drop to 30,000, but let's pretend it does. What would this tool predict, or what would this formation predict a price action for potential top of Bitcoin bull market? This would put us in the category of over $300,000. So massive swings. I mean, we're talking about a swing all the way back down to 32. More like, I guess from here on out, that'd be a 50% dip, but more than a 50% dip when it's all said and done from way back here at 72,000. I mean, theoretically speaking, we had like a 53% dip here back in 2019. This one before COVID, I don't count COVID, 53%. What would this one officially be if we did drop to 32,000? I don't see this happening, but 55%. Interesting. All right. Again, I want to preface that all by saying I don't think we're dropping to 32,000. I'm still not convinced we have to drop to 48, but 48 to me is the more realistic drop point if we go to newer lows on this dip. And when I zoom in here, inverse head and shoulders pattern, maybe they're even talking about, I don't like this one though either. Let's say we were going to the 4-hour chart. If you're talking about a shorter time frame inverse head and shoulders pattern, I think there's going to be people who try to stretch that as a left shoulder, that as a head, and then maybe this is a right shoulder. But that's not a good-looking inverse head and shoulders pattern. I also want to make sure people understand, when you look at formations like this, I always want to bring them up and bring them to people's attention. I look at these things more as saying bullish or bearish. Like if you get an inverse head and shoulders pattern, that should be a bullish breakout. But you don't always see it break to the perfect level that it should. And sometimes you don't even always see it break in the direction it should. Remember, when you look at formations in crypto, and pretty much everything in crypto, but mostly formations, you're talking about best case scenario, 70%, maybe 75% accuracy of what happens. That means 1 out of every 4 formations like this, people would prepare to go bullish, and then the price would break to the downside. So I always tell people to definitely take everything in crypto TA with a grain of salt, but especially formations. My evolution of trading has definitely brought me to a place where horizontal support and resistance is the most important thing to keep an eye on. Levels, just go back to my screen here real quick, T-Shroom. Watching levels of former liquidity where people bought and sold is going to be your number one area to keep an eye on. That's what you see, like when you look at Lux Algo, it's giving you formations based off of volume. It's giving you things based off of large purchase areas, based off of swing patterns of the past. I like trend lines as well, but ultimately, I think the number one thing is horizontal levels and then moving average levels. And that's what the smart show concept is. That's what a lot of the take profits and everything are. That is going to be your biggest thing to take away when you're trading. Formations, take them with a grain of salt. They're not never going to happen. But I think some people sometimes trust formations a little too much, and they don't pay attention to moving averages and horizontal support and resistance. That's what's most important when you're trading crypto. With that said, though, T-Shroom, we're going to go ahead and wrap out today's stream. Again, I'm going to be we're going to be going over into Discord, not Zoom today. I'm going to probably get that set up for next week, but today we're going to do Discord for our VIP traders. If you're a part of that group, make sure you go join me here in just a couple of minutes. The rest of you guys, love you. I might see you tomorrow, but if I don't see you, T-Shroom will still be here. So the program will go on as regularly scheduled. See you guys tomorrow. Adi.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.